Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the specifically S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Fighterz figures. So Android 21, Android 21 Lab Coat, and Clone Goku. But I want to use Clone Goku's official name that's written on the box, which is Super Saiyan Son Goku Clone Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour Exclusive Edition. And that is just such a mess of a name. It pretty much describes how he was unveiled, because I think it was at the Dragon Ball Battle Games Hour, which is sometimes when they announce some of these figures. But it's not often that we get specifically video game figures. So we've gotten these Dragon Ball Fighterz ones. They did Xenoverse ones that were like Xenoverse 1 Trunks and Time Patroller, but they were branded Xenoverse 2 because it came out around the same time. And then just recently we've gotten the Dragon Ball Legends ones. So it's interesting that, you know, the game characters are genuinely on the table. It's interesting. They're not my favorite figures by any means between like the Xenoverse ones and the Fighterz ones. Haven't looked at the Legends ones. But it is a cool idea. Something that I do really like specifically about the Lab Coat Android 21 and the Clone Goku is the style of the boxes. This is a little bit different from what they normally do for Dragon Ball S.H.Figuarts, because, you know, normally they are that sort of like comic booky style with white panels like they've done with pretty much all the 2.0 releases, and even some of the more modern ones as well. They've just kept that same sort of scheme. For the event exclusive ones, they sort of do negative inverted colors and it looks really premium and really cool. And for this one, they've done what is normally white on the box is black, and it really makes the entire figure pop. I think that the aesthetic just looks way better and it looks nicer on a shelf. I think it looks a little bit more premium. There's something about the white of the boxes that, well, like, it's nice, and, you know, if you stack them in a certain way, the color-coded style looks cool. But like a singular white S.H.Figuarts box by itself doesn't look nearly as cool as the black boxes. And it's a shame that this is pretty much the only time they've done it, but I really like the aesthetic. Now, moving right along, let's look inside the boxes. So Android 21 comes with a decent amount. So we get the figure itself, we get 4 faces, a bunch of different hands, her tail, as well as a donut, which is to replicate one of her attacks in the game. Then at Lab Coat 21, she comes with the figure itself, 5 faces. The glasses are removable, so they're usable on all the faces if you want to take it off or not. So you get more options, a bunch of different hands, folded arms accessory, as well as an energy effect, which is really cool. This figure came out a bit later, so it's understandable why it's got a little bit more going on. Then Clone Goku, he's probably the disappointment out of this review because aesthetically pretty cool, but in terms of actual accessories, it's pretty much the same as the full power Super Saiyan Goku that we've gotten a lot of. So it's the figure itself. You get 4 faces this time. I think the full power one has 4 as well, but the faces are a little bit different because this Goku's got a face that you don't normally get with Goku's, and it does look quite cool. But taken out of the box and put on a display here are all the figures, and they look pretty good, all things considered. Android 21 Normal is really hard to keep standing without a Tamashi stand or external stand or anything like that. The weight distribution on this figure is really awkward because she's got really tiny high heels and the weight is all in her legs and tail, so she can't really support that weight really well. You sort of need to do what you need to do with like Final Form Frieza, which is prop him up with the tail, so you have to prop Android 21 up with her tail. The Lab Coat one is a little bit easier to manage because the weight's a little bit more evenly distributed, but she does suffer from a problem that is quite similar. But that being said, all of the detail work is nice, the color choices are good. I like the paint applications on Android 21 Lab Coat. The color scheme for Clone Goku is really nice. The skin color is cool. The sort of muted metallic hair for the Super Saiyan hair looks really cool as well. And yeah, just generally pretty good. One of my problems, though it's purely my copy thing, is my Lab Coat 21 has started to get the yellowing plastic issue that was fairly common with like a lot of Hasbro Transformers a few years back. It's just like the type of plastic that they use during like certain circumstances. They yellow over time if they're left out in the sun or something in like the environment's humidity, something like that. But it's something with that plastic in particular that yellows like very quickly in the wrong circumstances. So one arm's got it, the other arm doesn't, which is a bit weird. Now we'll jump right into posability. I will rush through Goku just because it's a 2.0 Goku, so it's exactly what you expect. The joints are fairly tight on this figure because he is pretty new, all things considered, even though the mold is quite old. But yeah, he's generally what you expect. Nothing different here. It's exactly the same as we've seen with other 2.0 Gokus. But what's different is Android 21, or at least both Android 21s. So the main one's got a ball joint in the head and neck. The hair can rotate a little bit. The head is a bit weighed down by the hair, but it's okay, I guess. The arms can rotate all the way around, butterfly in a little bit. Nothing too crazy there. There's an upper arm swivel, bend at the elbow, and ball hinge at the wrist. There's crunching at the chest and waist. Again, the weight distribution isn't too good and it's quite loose, so the figure flops around a lot. The belt is a floating piece. You can do the splits that far, kick forward and back that far, which is quite good. There's a thigh swivel, double bend at the knees, a little bit limited due to the sculpt, as well as a pivot at the ankle and hinge at the toes. You can't get too much out of this figure just because of the awkward distribution, especially since the tail is really long and has like some swiveling, but like at most you can use it to prop up the figure. It's not gonna like be like helpful in terms of like actual posing and stuff. It's a little bit awkward to use. For Lab Coat 21, she's got a ball joint in the head and neck as well. Her hair can move same as the other one. The arms can rotate around and butterfly in. The sculpt is a little bit different here, so the range of motion is limited. It's an upper arm swivel, bend at the elbows, ball hinge at the wrist. There's a crunch at her chest. The lab coat can split and rotate and hinge at either side. She can do the splits that far, kick forward in the back that far. There is a split in the skirt, but it does hinder the movement still just a bit. You do still get an upper thigh swivel, bend at the knees, and pivot at the ankle, hinge at the toes, but it's generally a little bit better than the other Android 21 just because the sculpt is a bit different, so range of motion is okay here and there, but still not the most dynamic figure out there. Now for faces, Clone Goku comes with this scowling face out of the box, this sort of like scowling neutral face. He's got a teeth clenched angry face, he's got a mouth open shouting face, as well as this sort of sinister smirk. All of these faces are very well detailed because it's sort of the more modern style of S.H.Figuarts faces, so having a 2.0 Super Saiyan Goku with better detailed faces is actually quite cool. Android 21 has got this smiling face looking to the side. She's got a sort of like puffed up, probably eating cheeks face looking to the other side. She's got a sinister mouth open shouting face looking downwards, which is specifically for one of her supers, and then she's got her sort of like good 21 face. So it's a little bit interesting because all of these eyes are like pointed in different directions. You don't really have a very standard-ish neutral face, which I guess is one of my complaints in a lot of other figures, but that's usually for like figures that keep getting recycled constantly, whereas this is a brand new figure entirely, so it's a little bit hard to get like a perfectly neutral look out of Android 21, but still the options you've got are pretty good. The lab coat one has got a neutral face, and of course you can take the glasses on or off. For the other faces, I'm going to take them off just for ease of use. She's got a smiling face, she's got a teeth clenched angry face, as well as a mouth open shouting face. And again, face is compatible with the glasses. It's just a little bit of a hassle to take them on and off, especially if I'm rotating through it constantly, and I am scared because they do seem quite fragile. But all of the faces are very well detailed, and I really, really like how they've done them here. Captures the character very well, and I am happy with how they all turned out. So with the articulation and accessories, you can get these figures into some pretty good poses. Clone Goku, you're not going to really get him into any poses that you haven't seen already, but you know, if you like 2.0 figures, he's fine. He's got everything that a normal Goku has, as well as, you know, some more interesting expressions, especially because of the new detail work, and that smirking face is cool. Android 21 can get into some pretty decent poses. Flight stand is recommended, but you can get her into some fairly iconic shots, you know, eating the donut, blasting downwards. One of the weird things about Android 21 is that her hands are like not all paired together, so there's some interesting choices here or there, and it makes some poses a little bit awkward, but you can still get what you need out of the figure. For the Lab Coat 21, similar story there, you can get them into some fairly decent poses. The effect part is nice, and even just being able to have her hold her glasses in one hand and have like different expressions, it just makes the figure look a little bit better in my opinion. I do like a figure that is able to hold like their small accessory. It just adds a tiny bit more character, and folded arms accessories are always nice. But sometimes it's even better if a character can naturally fold their arms, which is something we're seeing a bit more often these days. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. As you can see, I'm hard at work making new videos for the channel. Now, while I'm happy with where the channel is right now, I could use your help. By liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel, it helps out the YouTube algorithm and recommends my channel to more people. So if you like any of my videos, please let me know, it really helps out. And if you liked this one, please let me know too. It means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate all of you guys.